Bonjour à tous, soyez les bienvenus sur notre présentation. Aujourd'hui, nous allons parler de Main Challenge Ukraine Infrastructure. Je voudrais vous présenter notre speaker, M. Yuri Usev, qui est conseiller des ministres infrastructure ukrainien, qui est président d'association Ukraine-France et qui soyez bienvenus pour dire quelques mots sur notre Ukraine, sur notre délégation и sur notre but de présence sur Innovative City. Здравствуйте всем, рада всех приветствовать. Мы приглашаем вас на наше интервью. Наш основной спикер сегодня это месье Юрий Гусев, который является советником министра инфраструктуры Украины и президентом Ассоциации Украина-Франция. Юрий скажет несколько слов о современной Украине, о тех изменениях, которые претерпели наши отрасли и отрасль инфраструктуры, о том, зачем наша делегация приехала на международный форум Innovative City в Ниццу и какие наши планы. Bonjour.
Bonjour à tous. Je suis Yuri, oui. C'est très honneur pour moi ici présenter l'Ukrainien, l'infrastructure. Je vais parler en anglais.
Anglais? Спасибо большое. Меня зовут Юрий. Я очень рад присутствовать на сегодняшнем мероприятии. Рад представлять Украину и поговорить об отрасли инфраструктуры. И я буду говорить по-английски.
First of all, it's a big pleasure and honor for me to be here and to present Ukrainian infrastructure. My name is Yuri Usev and I'm an advisor to the Minister of Infrastructure. I'm the president of Association Ukraine-France and I'm the member of the board of Alliance for Investment Solution.
Я являюсь советником министра инфраструктуры, президентом Ассоциации Украина-Франция и участником борда
Alliance for Investment Solution.
Альянс for Investments Альянс для инвестиционных решений.
Here in this grand forum, I'd like to present Ukrainian infrastructure and Ukrainian reforms we did during the last 4 years, first of all in the sector of infrastructure and transport development.
Я рад представить последние инновации, последние изменения, которые были приняты Министерством инфраструктуры за последний период.
First of all, it's connected with municipal transport infrastructure and for different sectors of transport infrastructure include roads, seaports, airports.
Слушай, je vous propose continuer en anglais parce que je pense, I think.
Pas de problème.
Okay.
And I'd like to make a presentation. This presentation shortly describe Ukrainian potential and possibility for investment communication and investment solution for Ukraine and Ukraine as a good destination for investment. You could see that we have huge trade opportunities for Ukraine. We have a strategic geographic location. We have European transport connection and Eastern Partnership indicate TNT maps, and now we have a deep and comprehensive free trade agreement with the Ukraine, which open Ukraine for potential investors from all over the world, and we are open for innovations from different countries. First of all, in France, and here in France we have Association Ukraine-France, which focused on cooperation and deep our cooperation with France, and we have huge representatives of Alliance for Investment Solution here, and the president of Alliance and the CEO of Alliance, and we'd like to set up new approach for cooperation with different companies here in France and in Europe. Next slide, please. I'd like to say that we've implemented innovation technology in transport infrastructure. Now we have pilot project for Hyperloop technology in Ukraine, and we've launched cooperation with international companies to establish in Ukraine pilot project in Dnipro city, and we have the representative of Dnipro City and the head of agency for Dnipro development, Vladimir Panchenko here, and we'd like to cooperate with different companies in Hyperloop technology, and Hyperloop technology not only for cargo or long passenger trips. We also would like to implement Hyperloop technology for municipal needs and for municipal transportation. We also have a huge potential for sea and river infrastructure. In Ukraine, we have pilot projects we've developed together with European Bank for Reconstruction and Development and International Finance Corporation, and now we understood that Ukraine is an emerging market. You have to look to Ukraine as an investment destination, and now we have pilot project developed by with the EBRD and IFC for potential concessionaires, which could be interesting in open Black Sea coast, and Ukraine as a huge European market with a free trade agreement with the European Union as a destination for technology investment, and we have two ports, seaports. Next slide. Two seaports. First port. Next slide, please. And lots of prospects. It's like total funds needed for investment in seaport infrastructure in Ukraine. It's more than $1 billion US, but we also have two pilot projects. Next slide. For example, seaport Olvia, located in the Black Sea coast in Nikolaev city, and we have 7 existed booths, and we have 41% of EBITDA margin in 2017, and this project defined it like a pilot project for concession. We, together with EBRD, developed new draft of the concession law, and we already have accepted after first reading in the parliament, and we hope during next few weeks we will have a new concession law in Ukraine, which will open Ukrainian market first of all in technology and infrastructure for European investors, because this concession law implemented world standards and best practice in the world in Ukrainian legislative base. Next slide. It's a Kherson seaport. It's a other pilot project for concession in the seaport infrastructure, and we have some data and some concrete proposal for potential investors. You could see also concession for ferry terminal in Chernomorsk seaport, like a point on the Silk Road from China to European Union. It's a railway ferry terminal, and this is a new part of One Belt, One Road philosophy and projects in the between China and European Union, and we'd like to invite investors to discover and to invest in Ukrainian seaport infrastructure.
What do you think about the geographical potential of Ukraine?
I guess Ukraine has a great geographical location because we are the bridge between Asia and Europe. We are the bridge between China and European Union, and we now in the Ministry of Infrastructure, together with the Ministry of Economy of Ukraine, together with the government of Ukraine, we are looking for implementing new infrastructure projects to make Ukraine like a hub for China and for European Union both in Ukraine, because it's a great potential for Ukrainian infrastructure development, and we have a good potential for agricultural growth. We are on the top 3 grain producers in the world, and we have a great IT hubs in Ukraine, and now we discussing new infrastructure projects in Ukraine together with European railway standards and together with seaport infrastructure.
Thank you. Tell us about, please, innovative in the
It's a good question. If you could slide next slides.
Okay.
I will.
Airports.
Airports. I'd like to say a few words about airports. Ukraine is the biggest country in Europe except Russia according to territory, and Ukraine has great potential for development of airports in different locations. For example, in Kherson city, like a hub in the south of Ukraine, with the different other cities like Dnipro, like cities in the west part of Ukraine. And now we have new contracts with low costers and with other airlines, and we have emerging markets in airports, and we're discussing to implement concession for airports, and now we are on the final stage of pre-assessment of development regional airports together with International Finance Corporation, World Bank Group, and we will understand how could we engage investment to regional airports development. Next slide, please. You could see that the biggest airport, Borispil, has a revenue more than 153 million US dollars, and we have a EBITDA more than 66%, and passengers floor it's more than 10 million passengers. It's a good potential for investment, and we have a good data and good plans for development of this airport. Next, please. It's a cargo terminal. Ukraine has a bridge between Asia and European Union. Could and will implement new projects with cargo hubs and cargo terminals in airports and seaports and other transport infrastructure. And for example, one of these projects are cargo terminal in Borispil Airport. Next slide. We also have Lviv as a state-owned airport in the west part of Ukraine, and Lviv one out of 4 cities which hosted the Euro 2012 football championship, and we have more than 1 million passengers last year in Lviv airport with a good dynamic. This is the regional airports in Ukraine we'd like to develop, and we are open for discussing of cooperation with different companies to invest and to look into this transport infrastructure for development of regional airports. Next slide.
26 airports.
26 airports, but we have first stage that 10 regional airports will be developed together with IFIs like EBRD, IFC, World Bank. We have a huge
What do you think about discounter, low coster? Because it's
now we have an agreement with Ryanair as a great and the biggest low coster in Europe. We already have Wizz Air in Ukraine, and we have some contacts with other low costers, and we are open for cooperation with the low costers because it's good to have low costers in Ukraine with a free regime with the European Union, that Ukrainians could visit Europe without any visa, just with a passport, and use low costers to visit France, yes, to visit France or other countries. And we have now new law in road transport infrastructure and concession in road infrastructure. And now, yesterday, on Monday, we've signed agreement between Ukrainian Road Authority and Bouygues company in Medef in Paris to start feasibility study for 2 first pilot concession projects in road infrastructure. Next slide, please. It's like a project. It's a pilot project. Gdansk, Gdynia, Odessa, go highway to connect Ukraine with Poland and to connect two different cities, Odessa and Gdansk. And we have first stage concession. We have a huge network of roads to be developed and to be reconstructed, and TNT connectivity. And next slide, please. I'd like to say a few words about railways. Railways. We have a great network of railways in Ukraine, and railways is now on
What
the
is the
process
news?
of
Connecting.
reforming.
Yeah, it's reforming because the dimension, the traditional post-Soviet
I would say Soviet type of
yes, of the rails
of
are
rails.
different the European.
Exactly, and now we are discussing how could we solve this problem with a new technology and with the hubs in the western part of Ukraine to use European standard to connect with the post-Soviet or now currently Ukrainian standard. And we have different types of projects to connect, for example, Poland with Odessa. You thought that we have a great potential with road infrastructure because it's two different seaports and two different seas, like a Black Sea and Odessa and Poznan in Poland, and we have a great potential, and we have high-speed railways in Ukraine, and you could see that we would like to connect Poland, or I would say European Union and Ukraine through the border in Lviv region in the western part of Ukraine with the Ukrainian network of railways, and I'd like to say that here in Innovation City Forum, I'd like to say that we on top three countries with a dynamic of growth in electric cars, and I'd like to say a few words about electric car innovation. Next slide, please. Next.
Rails, no?
Next.
Okay.
Electrification as the railway investment, it's like implement new technology, and we had a good negotiation in the MEDEF 2 days ago. How could we cooperate with French companies to implement new technology and new approaches for railways? And we are looking.
We have a proposition for collaboration.
Yes, we have a proposal from French companies. How could we implement it? And we will discuss it with the Ukrainian government and with the state company, Ukrainian Railways. What should we do? And now we have a good contract with the United States and with General Electric, together with Ukrainian Railways, and we are looking for cooperation with our partners here in France and European Union. Next slide, please. It's electronic vehicle infrastructure.
Very popular questions and problem.
I guess in Ukraine we have a new law initiated by the Minister Amelian and adopted by the Parliament, and we have high dynamic of growth of the numbers of electronic cars electric cars in Ukraine, and we have huge potential and huge demand for electronic cars.
And we have now law
we have a law, and
special.
we have a huge demand. For example, now we are on the top three countries in Europe with the growth of electric cars, and one of the huge sector for future cooperation with France and with the new technology companies. It's infrastructure for electric cars, municipal infrastructure. How could we implement new charging station or new infrastructure for electric cars in Ukraine according standards with the European Union and our partners from Europe? And I'd like to say a few words about Association Ukraine-France. This association was created this year, and we are looking for deep our cooperation in different sectors: innovation, investment, economical cooperation, together with cultural, educational, and other cooperation, I guess. And I know that Ukraine and France have a great potential for cooperation, and we have to use this moment for deep
For
our
example,
cooperation.
yes. For example, Dan Kildeman, in what kind of the business you think we have a potential?
As I already said, we have many potential projects in transport infrastructure.
Transport project.
We have many projects in IT sector.
IT sector,
we
yes.
know that here in Côte d'Azur, in Nice, you have France has
Pharmaceutical sector.
pharmaceutical as well, but here in Nice you have Sofia and Antipol is
Yes.
like IT Silicon Valley of Europe, and
Of course, yes.
it's a great potential for development, new cooperation between France and Ukraine, and I guess we have to use this moment to deep our cooperation between France and Europe. And our association was created for this, and I'd like to welcome all French companies to be a part of association and to communicate with the Alliance for Investment Solution to cooperate with investment opportunities in Ukraine.
Thank you. И ваше пожелание французским партнерам.
My best wishes for all participants of this great
Potential
forum.
participants.
Participants of this great forum, Innovation City, and I guess we, Ukraine and France, should be closer, and we are here to open new page for cooperation between Ukraine and France.
Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup. Peut-être il y a des questions pour notre speaker Юрий Гусев. Возможно, есть вопросы. Il y a une question sur, есть вопрос по, значит, Гиперлуп анонсировал подписание 14 июня соглашения с правительством Украины, чтобы запланировать свой запуск.
Yes, 14th of June, the Minister Omelian, Minister of Infrastructure Omelian, has signed the memorandum with a Hyperloop technology company in Kiev, and we, together with Association Agency for New Development, now on the process of developing pilot project of Hyperloop technology in Ukraine, and this project will open huge market of Europe with this Hyperloop. Hyperloop could change the mindset of the European people, because with the Hyperloop technology you could be from Nice to Kiev for 40 minutes, and you could change the system of life with the Hyperloop technology in transport infrastructure. That's why Ukraine could, want, and should be the driver of this new technology in transport infrastructure.
Thank you, Yuri. I have a question about the possibilities of Dnipro region businesses to communicate. For example, we have a company which is now engaged in repairing railway carriages, but they are looking for the partners in Europe and maybe in France to establish joint venture to manufacture locomotives or the parts for the locomotives. Is that possible to fulfill such tasks with the help of your association, Ukraine-France?
Thank you for this question. First of all, answering this question, I'd like to say thank you to Team Côte d'Azur and to Chamber of Commerce of Côte d'Azur here in Nice for cooperation. And we have a strong cooperation with Team Côte d'Azur, and I hope tomorrow we will sign a memorandum of development of understanding between Association Alliance for Investment Solution and Team Côte d'Azur. And Team Côte d'Azur is looking for potential partners from Ukraine to establish here companies and to develop here in innovational technology also for Ukrainian market. That's why we are here, and we are looking for deep cooperation together with the possibility to use European funds to develop these ideas and technology. And as I know, France companies and Team Côte d'Azur and Chamber of Commerce of Côte d'Azur are ready for this cooperation, and I hope after our visit here in Nice we will start for concrete projects together with the Côte d'Azur team and Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you very much. Спасибо
Thank you.
большое.
Welcome to Innovation City Forum, and welcome to Ukraine.